Well, welcome back, guys. We just got to the shop. A nice brisk 10-degree day. We got a bunch of stuff we need to work on this winter. You know, it's kind of funny. Everybody says, oh, farmers don't do anything in the winter. They just have to work during the summer. No, there's plenty of stuff to do in the winter. So, FYI, we actually have a nice morning this morning. That's been unusual, really, but beautiful morning this morning. So let's see what we got going on. We have one of the trucks in here today we were working on yesterday. We had to replace this module, which we put it in a couple years ago, and thankfully it was warranted because it's like almost $800 now. I think we paid between $500 and $600. So we had to put this in. The lights weren't working right. This took care of that. It is going to need new batteries, which is not uncommon. If you do have weak batteries, you're going to find them in the winter. So, especially when it's cold, and it's been pretty cold. Like I said, it's about 10 degrees today. So, we will be getting those sometime today, putting those in, and then we have a white American 80 in, working on it. This is for somebody we know. So the PTO is not working. So I pulled the valve that operates the PTO. I'm going to go ahead, I got it all tore apart. I'm going to go ahead and go through that, make sure that's all good to go because, well, here's why. That's the oil that we've drained out of it so far. It's very milky, which means it has water in it, and dirty. So I want to make sure that the dirty oil or the different consistency oil is not making this not operate right. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We're going to get into it and see what we can find out. Safety first. All right, guys, we are headed to a field. We got to work on a tractor. Blew a line on our loader that we were loading manure with. We've actually, it's middle of February, we've been actually having some decent weather, so we've been trying to do some outside stuff. So we've been able to haul a bunch of manure. We're trying to get as much of it spread as we can. We've been doing some brush hogging. You know, I haven't been row crop farming for very long. My dad has hay farmed for 25 years, and then I've been row crop farming for this is my 4th year. So I'm picking up a lot of new ground for the row crop, and a lot of the ground is ground that hasn't been farmed or hasn't had much done with it in the past. I'd love to be able to pick up ground that's been being farmed last year and continue to farm it as it would have all the fertility in it, and just would be set up a lot better. But that's all right. So I have gotten several hay fields, and then just some fields from older gentlemen who maybe were dairy farmers or who were hay farming it themselves and just are done and still want something done with the ground. So some of it's been let go a little bit, and then some of it's just old hay fields. So we're brush hogging it, getting it taken down as much as we can, just so that it'll be easier to work up in the spring or do anything with it in the spring. So we are going to be headed to one field today, actually, that it was farmed 2 years ago. An investment company had bought it. They split it up, lotted it off. The funny thing is, I actually combined it for the guy 2 years ago. Wasn't farmed in 22, and then now some Amishmen have bought it for hunting, and they want me to farm it in 23, or they want me to farm it, so I'm going to farm it this year and continue to farm it. So it has stuff 4 or 5 foot tall, just nasty, nasty stuff. So we're up there brush hogging that because we'll never be able to disc that under. So that field we're brush hogging, should be able to till that field no problem. Some of these old hay fields, it is just so time consuming and fuel consuming to try to till them. You know, you either have to chisel them or moldboard them, which I'm trying to get away from. I don't mind chiseling if I have to. I really am trying to stay away from moldboard plowing if I can. So I like to just go in a disc, and then the goal is to be able to no-till it in the future and maybe run a vertical till on corn stalks for the beans the following year. So anyways, this field that I'm brush hogging, this one I should be able to till. But some of these old hay fields we get from different people, what we brush hog them, we want the least amount of matter on the field as we can get, or as we can have. And then we a lot of times will go in and no-till corn into it. So it's not the best thing to do. You don't get as good of a yield, but it saves me a lot of time, and time is the biggest thing, and fuel, and not having to just run pass over pass over pass of trying to till it and get it fit up. Now, going back to the yield thing, you know, we shoot for 200 bushel corn where we're at, and I say that a lot of times it's 180, 190. When we no-till into sod like this, it can sometimes bring the yield down to 150 to 170. And maybe in some cases, and probably even in most cases, it's not even that much. But anyways, I just feel like it's worth it to not have the hundreds and hundreds of gallons of diesel into it to try to till it and stuff like that. And the other thing is, you know, I talk about the yield. A lot of these fields have not had the fertility put into them and the fertilizer put on. And so, you know, part of it might be that the fertility is just not there, that maybe we wouldn't get 200 bushel corn anyways the first year. So there is that factor as well. But yeah, so we are headed up to pull a line off a loader. We blew when we were trying to spread manure. And then we're going to be trying to do some brush hogging as well. All right, guys, we are here at the field. This is the loader we have to work on. So it's going to kind of be a pain. It's a line way back in there. It's a big line underneath that little one that we have to pull off. So that's going to be fun getting to. That's what we're going to start on. But real quick, I just thought it was interesting. This field had beans on it last year. I actually no-tilled the beans into corn stalks and had no-tilled the corn into bean stubble. So this field has actually not been tilled for 3 years. I probably going forward will till my corn stalks for beans, but this is something I just had tried. And it did work. However, just to be able to incorporate fertilizer into the ground and take care of leveling the ground and several other things, I'll probably end up, they say VT, vertical tilling my corn stalks for beans that year. But yeah, this is one of the fields we've been doing, and I actually got the beans on when it was still good weather and did not even rut it up very much, so that was nice. So, all right, let's get working on the tractor. All right, so I was able to get the line off. It actually was not as bad as I was thinking it would be. So here is the problem. Try to this. Oh boy, hold on. This, and I don't know if it's broke or just pushed out, or if it's, I know it's not supposed to be like that, but that is supposed to be on there and swivel. So we're headed to the dealer to see what is up with that. Not sure if that's right or not. Sorry, I know this is wrong. Whether it's actually supposed to be connected. Well, no. It can't be connected because then it wouldn't be able to swivel. Well, connected to this piece that's here. I think that is what we got going on. I think this piece is connected to this ring, and so that would make it be able to swivel, and it broke off. So most likely we're going to have to get a line. But I got it off. It was not as hard as I was thinking it would be. I was able to get a wrench on that up in there, and then use a pry bar to pry it loose. So that actually worked out great, because as you know, it was way up in there. So yeah, got it off. We'll see if we can get a new line coming. So the PTO unit is out. Got it on our cart, got it disassembled. We found this, which is definitely not good. So these will need to be replaced. So we're gonna get all new steel plates and friction disc. We'll get a new seal for the 540 shaft. That was seeping. Couple new O-rings we're gonna get. One goes there, and then there's one in this unit, and then we're also going to get the new main gasket that goes around here. So we'll get all that, get it put back together, and should be good to go. So the interesting part is these were actually, somebody had replaced these not too long ago, and they are roached, they're destroyed. You can tell the heat that has been on this steel plate, that is not good. And then this one, like I said, is like deformed. So I also tore the valve apart. I went all through it, and there were several things in there. It was very dirty, and there was a few things that were not right. So we had to do a couple things to this, cleaned it all up. I suspect that was probably part of it. We'll go through the rest of this as well to make sure it's all good to go, so that when we put it all back together, it should be good to go. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting about that. So yeah, we got parts ordered. We're waiting for them. Once they get here, we'll get her put back together and get it put back in. All right, guys, we are headed out to do some brush hogging. I'm picking up a field that it was farmed 2 years ago. It was not farmed last year, fall of 22. And so this is what happens when a field isn't farmed for a year. And unfortunately, it's going to be a big mess, a big pain in the neck to deal with. But unfortunately, I'm a small farmer, and I'm, basically picking up any ground I can, so I'm willing to do whatever to make something happen, or I'm willing to do whatever to get some land I can farm. So it's gonna be a lot of work, but I'm willing to do it. So, and again, I've only been farming 4 or 5 years, so I don't have a big batwing brush hog. We got the old 6600 with a 6-footer on it. So we're gonna get to